Hello and welcome to coverage of the Cycorp Swiss Open for the custom standard format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 2 match between Fazzer, who is on green-white Bogles, and Zarepath, who is on blue-black Rack. So this is a very interesting matchup, in my opinion, because Zarepath is probably one of the only players in the entire tournament who has mainboard tools that can deal with what Fazzer has. Specifically has 3 copies of Demand Tribute, which are a mainboard edict. Zarepath also has like a reasonably fast clock and has hand attack in the form of Sickening. So can potentially like just grab Fazzer's Bogles out of his hand before he even gets a chance to play them. Mask Saboteur also does a reasonable anti-Bogles impression if they only have one Boggle in hand. So far Zarepath's played a Lazer's Altar, which is a card draw engine, but one that also gives your opponent mana, which can sometimes be an issue. And played a Mask Saboteur, which is essentially a creature that can steal cards from your opponent's hand if it manages to connect. On the other end, Fazzer plays Wasteland Aucklet, which is one of the 2 Bogles that Fazzer has access to. So essentially what that means is it's a hexproof creature that Fazzer's planning to suit up with a bunch of enchantments, and then because Zarepath will, for the most part, not have removal for the Wasteland Aucklet because of its hexproof, Fazzer hopes to just swing in a bunch with it and steal the game that way. So Zarepath, again, would really like a Demand Tribute here before, because one of the enchantments that Fazzer has, Hanaru's Courage, creates a soldier token when it enters the battlefield, so that can really screw up the plan of use an edict to defeat Bogles. And Zarepath just goes to end. Interesting. I wonder what he has in hand. Because I think at instant speed he has Spell Pierce and Out of Date. Out of Date is useless here. Spell Pierce could situationally be good, but I don't think Fazzer has anything that could be countered by Spell Pierce here, unless he tries to go for multiple auras. Especially because of the pedal that Zarepath gave him. I think playing Lazer's Altar is the right call, because you want to dig super deep to try and hit a Demand Tribute as fast as possible. But it can definitely be damaging when you're trying to like use a tax counterspell. So it has a Stirring Pride. This gives Trample, Lifelink, and +2/+2. So Fazzer gets to swing in for 4 here. Ooh, flashes in. Oh, this is a cool play. So I forgot that Zarepath has Notion Thief, which has flash. So now is going to block the Wasteland Aucklet with Mask Saboteur and Notion Thief. But Fazzer is going to... Oh, but Fazzer has 2 mana to be able to cast Wander the Unknown and to exile the Notion Thief. And Mask Saboteur just dies because it gets eaten. That would be such a good play from Zarepath, but Fazzer had every line covered. And now Zarepath really just needs to hit that Demand Tribute before this Boggle gets out of hand. Okay, it has a Corporate Confidant, and another Corporate Confidant, and another Lazer's Altar. I don't know if I agree with the Corporate... I guess the Corporate Confidant makes sense if you have nothing else to play, because if Fazzer doesn't have another... As I say, if Fazzer didn't have another enchantment, you could block those. You could also double block to prevent... actually, that really would, because Corporate Confidant only has 1 toughness. And Fazzer has a 2nd Stirring Pride. So yeah, this Aucklet is huge, and Zarepath's altars are going to make the clock on him even faster, especially if Zarepath doesn't hit a Demand Tribute like now. So yeah, Zarepath's going to take 9, go down to 5 life, and Fazzer's just ticking up his life total like crazy. So even if Zarepath stabilizes here somehow, I don't see how Zarepath can win this with double altar, because he'll have to start drawing Fazzer cards, which will let Fazzer hit another Boggle. I don't think Like, I don't know if there's a way to win this. The Zarepath does get to draw 3 cards here, but if he doesn't hit a Demand Tribute, that's 3 mana though, and hits the Demand Tribute, Fazzer's going to lose the Boggle. Notably, Ancestral Marking could still come back if Fazzer just goes another Boggle enchantment. But for now, this is stabilization for Zarepath. Swings in for 6. Again, the problem is like Zarepath only has 1 more turn. He can safely Lazer's Altar. Eli is pretty dead because both the +1 and the -2 are target creature. It can hit a Moonweaver, which, given that Moonweaver has flying, Moonweaver is definitely a scary clock on Zarepath. But other than that, like, I don't know how Zarepath because Zarepath has to win quickly to really like take out the chance of Fazzer being able to draw something relevant off of the Lazer's Altar. But it seems that won't be happening because Fazzer has Forestgrave Guardian. The cat has the third Stirring Pride, and that recurs Ancestral Marking. So Forestgrave Guardian naturally has Hexproof. So Zarepath going down to 1 life, because I'm assuming that means that Zarepath doesn't have another Demand Tribute in hand. So it's basically just going all in, needing to hit it. And like the thing is, let's say like Fazzer for some reason doesn't have like another aura. Even then, Zarepath couldn't like double block with the Confidants because they only have 1 toughness and Forestgrave Guardian has trample. So Zarepath would just take 4 damage from the trample. Yeah, and Zarepath just says, GG, we're going to game 2. Yeah. Okay, yeah, like, if Zarepath was able to find one of the answers, but just wasn't fast enough. Okay, so let's look at sideboards here. So on Zarepath's end, do you bring in Pithing Needle for like a Sicknick to be able to turn off hand attack? Maybe, I could see that. Overgrowth Instigator and Force Ranger seem weird to me. They seem like a little bit too much of a fair plan. Taken for Questing, maybe. I don't know what that, or Taken for Questing and Sonic Scream, I don't know what they hit. I honestly think that like Fazzer's main board is pretty teched. So I think if anything, the Pithing Needles is what would come in. I guess like Taken for Questing and Sonic Stream can take out a Lazer's Altar to prevent Zarepath from drawing into an answer. On Zarepath's end, I think all the banishes come out, all the out of dates come out. You put in Essence Scatter, you put in the Despices. Imperial Brutality can kill an unsuited up Boggle, so I think you put that in. Maybe even the Duresses to grab auras. I think out of the side, Zarepath definitely has like lots of strong tools and is favored in this matchup. We just have to see if Zarepath draws them at the right time. Yeah, so that's my prediction for sideboards. So both players are going to be keeping at 6 cards. So Zarepath's playing a fetch and immediately cracking it, and grabs a Forlorn Ruin and just passes. Fazzer responding with an Arrowloo Duel of his own. Tapping 2 Sicknick? Corporate Confidant. I don't know how, like, I think those aggressively oriented creatures are not what Zarepath wants to be hitting here. Zarepath wants to have hand attack, and just like other early interaction, but Zarepath's just like, okay, there it is, hand attack, Despise. That's exactly what. In response, Fazzer's going to Sonic Scream, but Zarepath has a Spell Pierce for it. What an interaction! So essentially, Corporate Confidant is an artifact creature, so Sonic Scream is able to kill it. But Zarepath has the Spell Pierce to be able to counter it. I don't know if that was worth it. I think that was a cool interaction. But I feel like, is Corporate Confidant staying on the board worth that much? I feel like ooh, and Fazzer did bring in the Overgrowth Instigator. Um, since Auckland is the faster one to come out, Zarepath's just going to grab that. Um, I was thinking that maybe Zarepath could have saved the Spell Pierce for an Aura, but I guess Zarepath's plan is I'm just going to keep having interaction. I'm going to try and outspeed you. So Zarepath basically is probably going to hope to have another, or I guess drawing the card here to be able to have more relevant interaction is another reason to keep Corporate Confidant around. Does Zarepath have? No, that's not. Okay, that's Mask Saboteur. Doesn't have another piece of hand attack this turn. Has Lazaire's Altar. See, all this would be really good against a fair deck, but Bogles is emphatically not a fair deck. So Fazzer tapping out Overgrowth Instigator, going to end. Interestingly, I feel like there's no reason to not swing out with Overgrowth Instigator there, because you can put Zarepath off superiority. Like Corporate Confidant was tapped because it had just attacked. Zarepath is not going to block with Mass Saboteur, and if he does, you're completely fine with it. And you're not going to block the Corporate Confidant on attacks anyways. So Fazzer is just going to take 5 from the Mass Saboteur plus Corporate Confidant. And the thing is, like, even if Fazzer was thinking, I want to block the Mass Saboteur, he can't because Mass Saboteur is unblockable unless the defending player controls an untapped land. So there's really no reason not to just attack with Overgrowth Instigator there, especially because Zarepath was also tapped out. So Max Saboteur gets to upload a card out of a player's hand whenever it attacks. In this case, Zarepath's going to grab Guinevere's Benediction. Oh, for those who don't know, uploading basically means that it's put into exile, and its owner may pay 2 at any time to be able to put it into their hand. So Fazzer is at low life here. The problem is, next turn, Fazzer just goes Guinevere's Benediction, Ancestral Marking, Overgrowth Instigator becomes a 7/7 lifelink, and Fazzer goes back up to 16 life, and then turns off Corporate Confidant. Shrieking Affliction is a clock, though, because Fazzer is going to have to empty his hand here to be able to buff up this Overgrowth Instigator. I don't think Fazzer particularly cares, because he's going to be gaining 7 per turn, but, you know. And those Mass Saboteurs don't really matter, because Zarepath is Fazzer's just going to be playing every card that he has access to. And yep, Ancestral Marking. And the pedal means that Fazzer does have 2 mana if he wants to be able to download the Guinevere's Benediction. Doesn't have the mana to play it this turn, so I imagine he'll wait until next turn. Ooh, top decked another Guinevere's Benediction. This is disgusting. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh no. What does it go up to? So it's +3 for each one, so it's +9, so it's a 12/12. Oh god. Fortunately, it doesn't have Trample, but I think if you're Zarepath, just block it with the Mass Saboteur. Yep. And what's even crazier is next turn, Fazzer gets to go download Guinevere's Benediction, play Guinevere's Benediction, then each one gives +4/+4, so it'll be +16/+16 in total. It'll be a 19/19. So unfortunately, Zarepath doesn't have superiority anymore, so it doesn't draw off the Corporate Confidant. Does have Alter, so still has a chance of drawing into a Demand Tribute, which is what he really needs to hit here. I think if you're Zarepath, you don't want to attack with anything, because if Fazzer top decks a Wander the Unknown, you just lose. Yeah, so on Fazzer's upkeep, Shrieking Affliction deals 3 damage to him, so he went down from 21 to 18. So Fazzer paid 2 to download the Guinevere's Benediction, and is paying 1 to cast it. Overgrowth Instigator is now, and if Fazzer has like a Stirring Pride right now, I think Zarepath is basically like, does that just kill Zarepath? I think it might, but Fazzer didn't. Just gonna casually swing out with a 19. Oh, has Wander the Unknown. So Corporate Confidant is gone. Zarepath is forced to sandbag the Mask Saboteur in order to not lose. Yep, but now Zarepath's like empty on board, and has only like one chance to draw into uh, Demand Tribute off this altar plus his regular draw. Another Shrieking Affliction, but that's not. Zarepath needs it. Yeah, Zarepath saying GG. And wow, that's it. Oh, and Zarepath had an Essence Scatter and a Banish. I'm really surprised that Zarepath kept the Banish in, honestly. Um, but yeah, Essence Scatter coming in too late. But yeah, good games to both players, but Fazzer on green-white Bogles takes it 2-0 over Zarepath on blue-black rack. Until next time, this is Caillou signing off.